Typically, when it comes to your computer, a lot of people spend a lot of money on the computer. The graphics card, the CPU, the memory, the monitor. But what a lot of people don't really think about is the tool that you use the most on the computer. Is granted, you need a good graphics card if you're doing something that needs graphics like gaming or maybe CAD drawing, things like that. Or maybe you need a large monitor if you're an accountant working in large spreadsheets, or gamer or CAD, or just need the real estate for your many windows that you have open. Like if you're like me and a sysadmin, you may want multiple windows on multiple screens to help you take advantage of that and be able to easily work between windows. But the one thing you use the most out of all of that is your keyboard. Choosing the right kind of keyboard is vitally important. And I want to show you a couple different keyboards today we're going to talk about. And that's your standard keyboard first and foremost. Let's take a look at this. So this is your standard keyboard, nothing special about it. It's your normal QWERTY layout, and that's defined by these keys right here. There's different types of layouts. We won't get into that right now, but you normally sit your hands like this. The issue is when you're sitting your hands like that, you're cinching your wrists together. You're putting your hands together. Also, there's just one button for two fingers. Then if you're wanting to hit different buttons, you got to reach for them. You're going to be reaching for various things, and sometimes that can be kind of tricky to do, or you're using two hands to try and do it, which that's not a big deal, but it still can be kind of cumbersome because a lot of people, they'll use their left control, for example, to do various buttons, but then you're stretching over here where you could have your fingers here easily moving. So things like that. This is a nice keyboard because it's lower profile, but with this type of keyboard, what it uses to make the buttons work is it's a rubber membrane, and the PC board is underneath. And as you press on the button, it pushes that rubber membrane down to make that connection for you. It results in a nice quiet keyboard, which is nice, but it makes it kind of spongy. Now, if this is all you've ever used, you probably don't know there's anything different. But over time, working with a keyboard like this will cause wrist strain because you're holding your wrists up like this. You're also scrunching your hands together, which is just not natural in any way, shape, or form. So then, Microsoft, as well as some other companies, but Microsoft came out with their Ergo keyboard. Now, this is my old Ergo keyboard. Pardon all the dust. She's been used quite a bit over the years. I love this keyboard. It is a great keyboard to work with. It's very comfortable, has a nice wrist rest where your wrists can rest on it while you're typing, brings the buttons up nice and close. It's also contoured. One thing you'll notice here is it's got a heavy hump here in the middle where it's split down the center of the board here to allow you to easily work with the keys and access them. But just like the other keyboard, when you're pressing buttons, it's using a membrane. Now, the dilemma I used these keyboards for many years, and I've always liked them. They have these nice hot buttons up here. You've got your audio management here. You've even got your shortcuts for various things like new window and calculator, stuff like that. I've always loved those things. And it's a very comfortable keyboard to type on. But I learned Microsoft was selling their peripherals. In other words, you're not going to be able to get these keyboards anymore. So I was wondering to myself, what am I going to switch to? Now, this keyboard still works. I like it. It's showing its age. I've been using it for several years now. It's still comfortable to work with, but it's massive. As you can see, it takes up a lot of desk space. Now, while it's still a nice, comfortable keyboard to work with, you're still, as you can see as my hand's moving, your arrow keys are over here. Your number keys are way over here on this side. It's still your standard keyboard. If you want to hit your number keys, you got to stretch to reach them. If you want to hit your F keys, you got to stretch to reach them, or lift your hand like I just did in order to hit them up here. Now these keys aren't used that much, so it's not a huge ordeal, but it's something to keep in mind. But I wanted something, I'm like, there's got to be something better out there than just your standard run-of-the-mill keyboard. The nice part is these things are cheap. I mean, the Microsoft Ergo keyboard here, I think I bought it when it was like 50 some bucks. So it's not expensive. The other keyboard I had on my desk here, that's like a $15 keyboard. They're cheap, but they're built to be cheap. That's the benefit of them. But I wanted something that was more capable. And that's when I did a research and I found this. There are things called mechanical keyboards. Now, mechanical keyboards come in very different sizes and types. It can be a regular keyboard, but what really attracted me was these. Now, this keyboard is an open source keyboard that you can build yourself. This is called the Lily 58. Matter of fact, I sell these keyboards as kits. You can build this yourself on my website, my store website, turkeyboards.com. But it's your standard keyboard. You still have your number row, which makes it nice and easy. But you'll notice it doesn't have your normal space bar. Instead, it has all these extra buttons down here for your thumb to be able to easily use. And you can move your thumbs in and out while hitting buttons. The other nice part about it is it's completely configurable. You'll notice here that these switches, these are called Keith Red Pro tactile, or linear rather, switches. And you can see they're hot pluggable. So you can actually pull the entire switch out. You can change even the keycap out, which makes it very personal. And this is a mechanical switch. There's a little, instead of there being a rubber membrane, there is a spring inside with a couple metal plates, contact plates. So it's a standard switch. The nice part about these is they last 50 to 80 million uses. So they have a very long life. And if they ever do wear out, you just pop them out, pop some new ones in. Or if they start getting spongy or the springs start wearing out, you can actually get spring replacements. Down the road, if you want to upgrade your keyboard to make it wireless or something, you can change out the microcontrollers. Now I have a couple LCD screens on this one, so you can see things like words per minute, what layer you're on, things like that. Here's the microcontroller, the brains of the keyboard. And there's so much more. But the nice part about this is, while it still supports the standard layout, it allows you to customize your layout so you can do different things. But you don't have to go this big either. You can go a lot smaller. There's other keyboards. Now, I have to say, there's keyboards much smaller than this. But this is called the Corne keyboard. This is probably one of the most popular, widely used low-profile keyboards out there. Again, if you didn't notice, my favorite is the Red Pro switches. Again, hot swap. This is a complete keyboard. Instead of it having the processor separate, this one's already built and ready to go. This is also available in my store. And also, just like the Lily 58, this is an open source keyboard design. That's what makes it great. Now you'll notice it doesn't have a number row here, and it has fewer thumb keys. And you think, okay, fewer buttons, that would make things harder. Let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. But the benefit of having a split keyboard is, and this applies to any split keyboard, not just this one, is you can space it out. So now your arms can be at shoulder level instead of squished together while you're trying to type. The other thing is, with it being so thin and low profile, it makes it so much more comfortable to rest on and type. You can still use wrist rests if you want. You can get wrist rests for these. Any wrist rest will work and do. But with it being so low, it's actually the equivalent to like my Microsoft Ergo. Almost the same amount of height when I'm on my desk here. And I've just got a standard desk pad. I've had this also for a few years. It's shown its age, but it's still comfortable and it has a nice spongy spring to it. So it's comfortable to rest your wrists on them. So the neat part about these keyboards is, because they're configurable, is not only can you make them the way you want them, but you can have them to where you can do shortcuts. You can do things like home row mods. You can have layers, you can have macros, the list is almost endless what you can do with these keyboards. The benefit is if you press one button, you switch and change all of your keys. So like for example, the way I've got this one configured is if I press and hold this button down here, now instead of this being letters, this is my arrow keys. This is my page up, page down, left, right keys. Down here, this is my mouse scroll wheel, for example. If I hold this down, this makes these my function row keys. If I hold them both down, that allows me to change things like my RGB lights, things like that. These buttons function as my enter and space keys. I can also use buttons such as this one. You'll notice that this is my control key, but it also is my escape key. If I double tap on it, it's my equals key. Things like that. So it allows you to configure these and use them in much more efficient ways. Now, this means it does have a little bit of a learning curve, but the benefit of all of this is you keep your fingers right close and all of your buttons, all of your symbols are very easily reached. You don't have to reach up to get to them. The other thing is, since these are so small and thin, it's easy to throw in a pack. You can get a carrying case for this or just throw it in your bag and you're ready to rock and roll. I mean, this is just a touch over ½ inch tall, so it's real short, which is fantastic. And it's very comfortable. It's quiet. That's the other thing I love about the Red Pro switches. It's quiet. It's easy to use. It also allows you to do things like, for example, I'll plug it in here so you can see it. Now, this isn't available on the Lily 58 yet. I'm going to be making my own at some point. But you'll notice this lights up. This has backlighting for each and individual key has its own light, which is nice. So these keys allow you to type and access different layers. So let me show you what I mean. Let's jump over to VS Code here. I'm going to leave my keyboard up as well so you can kind of see. So let's do some typing. This is testing my keyboard. You'll notice when this is my space bar, this is my enter key. So if I press it, this is my enter key. Now if I hit it quick, you'll see it double enters. But if I do double, that's my alt key. So I'm still tweaking my settings here, but it makes it nice and easy. And this turns in like my number row here, 2.168.2.12. You know, just type in numbers, makes it very easy. These are my F keys. Like I said, if I hit this down here, I still have my tab. It's right here. I can easily reach that with my pinky finger, things like that. So these keyboards allow you so much functionality. It's amazing. I can't say enough cool things about these. This has changed my experience on my computers so much. Honestly, it's been a ton of fun. It's turned into my own little hobby here. But things such as this is my music start and stop. If I press and hold this, I can start and stop my music. If I press and hold this, I can change the volume of my computer right here. So I still have all my shortcuts just like I have on my Microsoft Ergo, but it's closer. I don't have to stretch up here to hit a button. Instead, it's just press and then press. And I could actually make these even closer. If I wanted to, I could have multiple layers through these buttons, and I may change something. I'm always changing my ergonomic layout, but this is just a few examples. Now, let me show you another keyboard design that's a little different. So this is another keyboard design. This is called the ZSA Voyager. Now, this uses open source software, just like the other keyboards, but the hardware design is closed source. ZSA doesn't share that, but they are huge contributors to the QMK libraries, and they make very comfortable, good keyboards. This is the keyboard I cut my split keyboard teeth on. What I like about it is it has these little magnetic legs for an angle. Also, it's very, very low profile, thin, just as you can tell from the Corne, about the same. And just like it uses a TRS cable to connect the two halves and uses USB-C, and it supports lighting as well. This is a fantastic keyboard too. I don't use it because I use my Corne. I actually find it a little more comfortable, but this is still a fantastic keyboard. I don't want to say any bad things because there is none. It's just the thumbs are kind of weird for me. That took me a while to get used to. I always felt like there should be a third thumb here. Don't know why. It's just that always just like there should be a third thumb. But this I find more comfortable of where it's located at than these. But this is a complete keyboard system made by ZSA, and it's just another type. Now, there's other kinds that are much thicker, heavier. They have palm rests. I mean, there's a million different keyboards out there. So don't just think the handful I showed you are all there is. But again, just like the Lily 58, it's got the number row up here at the top. Now, you can tell these keyboards are very similar in size. They're very small, they're lightweight, they're thin, which is fantastic. Now this is a kit one, obviously, so because it looks like it's got, you can see the different boards and stuff and the reset switch, whereas this is a little more polished, obviously. And this one has a nice 3D printed case I built for it, whereas this one's got a metal back. But I actually kind of mimic that because on my keyboards I put a thin metal, you actually get them from cell phone stores and stuff, these little metal plates, and you can attach magnets to them to hold it up. And that's how I do my tinting. So I can tilt it and make it more comfortable for when I type. But these are all just various designs. And again, just like these other keyboards, it gives you the ability to easily swap out. Like these, what I have installed here is I bought it with the red switches instead of the red pros. This is when I first started off. These are a little more, takes a little more effort, a little more pressure to engage that switch than does the red pros. And these are, because of that, they're a little louder, they're more clacky. It's probably also because of the metal case on the back end, it makes it louder, whereas something like this is a lot quieter, as you can tell. But again, this has layers. So this is what got me started. And I love their configurator because it makes it super easy. You press this and you have different controls. Like that turned on my arrow keys. If I hit this, it activated my function keys and symbol layers and, things like that. And then you can have all of these as different layers and combine them to do different layers there. And layering actually is even on your standard keyboard in a way. Layers are not a new thing. So for example, you want capital letters, you hold down your shift key and then you press your button that you want to engage that. Another layer that's on every single keyboard is your numlock. With your numlock off, turns into arrow keys. With your numlock on, this is now a number pad. So layering is nothing new to keyboards. It's just with your standard big box store keyboards, you're limited in, that's the only layers you got, your shift key and your numlock. Whereas with this, you can fine tune keys to do all kinds of different things. Like if I wanted to, I could press both of these at the same time twice, and make a window pop up or switch windows or, anything like that. It allows you to customize your experience based off of how you want. Like if you want to, you could set up a key combination to create a gaming layer. So that's your gaming keyboard right there. It has things like that allows you greater functionality and expandability to where you can use your keyboard to work best for you. And that's what I love about these mechanical keyboards. Again, I've got the kits available at turkeyboards.com. I've got the Corne, and then this one on turkeyboards.com. This is all pre-built for you. You just get your switches and keycaps. And then like the Corne, you can get this from ZSA.io. And this is the Voyager, and I love the Voyager. This is a fantastic little keyboard that you can get from them because I'm a huge fan of low-profile keyboards. But this is pre-built. Their configurator is real easy to use. I can't say enough good things about them because it's a very nice system. You even get extra keycaps and stuff, and depending on the set of keycaps you get, there's keycaps that are extra for all of these, which is nice. So that way, again, you can customize it. If you want to change from a QWERTY to Colmac or whatever other layout you want, you can do that with any of these, which makes it nice. You can make it very personal and usable. And so anyway, check it out. Again, you can get the Voyager off of ZSA.io, or for our friends across the pond, ZSA, I guess is how you'd say it. Or you can get like the Lily 58. You can actually go to the GitHub page, download these, and print them off and make your own if you wanted to. You source all your own parts. Same thing with the Corne. Or you can go to turkeyboards.com and you can order and customize it however way you want. But I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to mechanical keyboards. I hope you embrace the idea. We're going to have a lot more videos about mechanical keyboards on this channel because, like I said, I'm obsessed. I've been having a blast with these things, and they've really changed my work capabilities. And like I said, I fell in love, especially with the Corne. I use that as my daily driver now. I started with the ZSA, then I went to the Lily 58, and now I'm on the Corne. So it's been a fun journey for me. But you can pick out one that's going to work best for you. And along with the keycaps, you don't have to go black. Like all of these come in white as well. You can get white keycaps with the black, or I've got the blue keycaps with the white or black case if you want. Things like that. And the Voyager, I think it comes in both white and black. So you can pick whatever you want that fits more your style. So these are great boards. Check them out. There's tons of other keyboards out there as well, but these are probably some of the more popular ones. That's why I went with them. And we'll see you in our next video. Thanks for watching.